What's up, everybody, and welcome to, November. Today, I want to talk about something I needed to talk about for a while now, and that is my grade, I guess you will, and my thought on what the ending should have been of Halloween Ends. So, let's get on to it. So, clearly, the masses are pissed. But the thing is, I understand, in a way, what David Gordon Green was doing with Halloween Ends. And each one, it just blew my mind when I didn't even notice until this last movie came out, on how each title represented the first three Halloweens, even the last one, Season of the Witch. And it almost kind of also took part of what each old movie was and somehow incorporated it into David Gordon Green's trilogy. Whereas on the first original, Michael escapes, Halloween Begins, left with Laurie, him presumably missing. You don't see him in the fire, he's missing on the ground on 1978. So there's that comparison. And then you have Halloween 2, the 81, and Halloween Kills, where it kind of takes place in a hospital. The mob, as far as the town attacking, the Myers house in the old one, and now attacking him now. At the end, you see him burning. There's some differences there. Of course, he stands tall. I don't know what the original was going to be like, if it was going to be on the same night. And then Halloween Ends begins, if you will. And the beginning of it, I kind of understand. And I will say, agree with some of the most people, is that the character, you're involved in these characters. I wasn't much involved, I would say, in the first two. The only people I was involved in was Michael, Laurie, Allison, and Karen. Yeah. And even on the second one, Officer Hawkins, if I can say that right, but Frank, he was kind of a favorite in the first one, and then we all thought he was dead. Somehow, miraculously, he's alive and, stay in the hospital bed. And he wasn't really a part of, kind of, with the love triangle and ends with Laurie. Like I said, there was the love's connection. I say love, but that attraction with Frank and Laurie, Allison and Corey Cunningham. And Corey's story it's something to grasp. You're rooting for him. And then you're thinking, this man is going to be the next boogeyman, the next shape, the next Michael Myers. That didn't turn out to be that. I liked it. I did like the movie, and I gotta keep watching it, and I'll probably like it even more, just like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I think my only complaint, as far as a lot of people else have, is Michael, for it being the end of not only Laurie's story, and that's what it was all about, Laurie's story. Michael just happened to be the boogeyman involved. It would be the same way if Batman and Joker, and Joker's last 15 minutes, 10, whatever, and it, he ended the way it did. Michael's death should have meant or been better if this was going to be the end for him. The man was 65, I believe. 65. Got out, he was 21 in the old one. 40 years later, he's 61. 4 years after Halloween Kills, he's 65. So, the man had to go. But I know a lot of people was pissed because Corey fought him off, got his mask, portrayed him. Corey did a wonderful job, I think. There were parts of the movie he could have been better at, as far as getting his hands slammed in the door, like, ah. But I think he was growing into it, into the shape. But when Corey died, I said, oh, yeah, that's it. That's no bueno. You know, and Michael stands tall. Laurie sees that the front door's open. They're going to hash it out. Michael's like, well, while I'm here, let me go ahead and end this. And they do. It's the same, almost this, pretty much what you see in the trailer is what you see in the movie. Instead of maybe the needle to Laurie's head, kind of squeezing in their neck, whatever. And then the fridge, the knife in one hand and a knife in another. And then you take off the mask. And now I'm pretty sure now you can see it online, see it behind the scenes, what Michael's face looked like behind that mask. It was bad. The eye that was damaged in the beginning, a long time ago, the glossy look was swollen shut. I'm guessing from the beatings and everything he took from the mob. And then, you know, this eye was normal. Then he had almost looked like, what did someone say? It was infected. He was infected. Straggly, not even a beard. It was just nasty hair here. Looked like pus, if not corn. It to me, parts of just all over his face. Totally didn't, and he didn't look like it he was supposed to, but what the shape is supposed to look like is when he wears the mask. You don't know what he looks like, but when you see behind the scenes, it's crazy. It is crazy. You know, the part where, you know, you're just a man that's going to stop breathing, slices his neck, slices his wrist, stabs him before that in the side. And I think what a lot of people's like, well, wait a minute, this is the shape. This is the man supposedly 4 years before that event, before ends, got up after a brutal mob beating, gunshots, and killed everybody, including Karen, and vanished. Some people were like, well, why didn't he just stay home and not be in the sewer? If you notice in the movie, there's an article, they demolished the Myers house. They bulldozed it probably. They said, you know what, screw this. His house is gone. So, you know, he wanted to go home. There is no home now. So he was just like, you know, if there's no place, I can understand. Michael's living out his days. He don't, you know, if he can't go home, why live? You know. And the part where Laurie's like, well, every time he kills, he transcends. Well, 4 years without killing, probably, if he had not, probably made him weak. And the thing was, you know, we take, well, wow, he killed all those people after the beating he took, and now he's like a fragile, you know, hamster, fragile little shell of himself. And, you know, you have two directors. To me, David Gordon Green didn't see him as supernatural. John Carpenter said he was sort of between a supernatural, and I think he said human being, if not unknown. Because, let's face it, if you're a human being, I don't know if you could take what he took in Halloween Kills. Being able to breathe in the smoke of the burning house. Smart enough, he hid behind the gun shack, took the beatings that he took, the stab wounds, the gunshots, the baseball bats, the 2x4s, probably the lady with the iron, and then result to what he became in Halloween Ends. At the end, though, he looked like himself, but I think with the swollen, he lost it. In the ending, you know, they throw him in a meat grinder, or I say meat grinder, basically where you crush up, you know, probably all parts of cars and metal and all that other stuff. I'll get to that in a minute. But they throw him in there, and I'm like, oh, it's really over. So that's done. Next day, she finishes her book, her memoir, whatever Laurie's writing on. Allison is off to out of Hatfield. She's gone. New life. And all you see at the end really is Frank and Laurie at the front porch, just quiet. And they pay an homage to the first Halloween, and they go through each room kind of where he was been in that house. And you see the mask on the table, or the island, if you will, on the kitchen. And then, that old song, Don't Feel the Reaper, comes on, and then it cuts. And I'm like, okay, I understand. It didn't, some people didn't say it didn't feel like a Halloween movie. And it did and it didn't. I was pulling for Corey, because it almost made you, and it made you feel sorry for Corey, made you feel sorry for Allison, because she got screwed over at her job. Her boss was sleeping with another employee, giving all these things, and they evoked their vengeance as far as Corey did. And Michael helped out in some cases. I'll probably get it. I'm a big horror. It's just like Batman. I mean, depends what. I mean, I do, because I was younger, I do have all the Batmans, even with Clooney, and Kilmer wasn't a bad one, but Clooney, man. But yeah, I'll get it. I'll get kills. And now the question is, how will they come back with this one? I think I know people want to go off of her daughter Jamie's on Halloween 4 or 5, and maybe off of zombies. I just think with this day and age, and as far as, they could do it, but I think with the audience today, they wouldn't get it. Like, who's this girl? Wait, Laurie had a daughter? I thought they weren't related. I think it's really going to really confuse some folks. Really maybe screw up the timeline. I'm not sure. But if anything, it's really going to me, I think the best way, there's many ways to do it, but the best way is either totally reboot it. And don't even have a Laurie Strode. You can have the Boogeyman, Michael Myers, whatever, and go maybe on a different backstory. Don't give him too much of a story why he is the way he is. Have him kill, instead of Judith, a brother or a parents, something. Same, have a different doctor, Dr. Loomis or someone else. Just change it up. It's almost like you keep going over the same story, and people don't. It's like, okay, when are you going to stop using the same content and do something different? And since Laurie's story's done, why reboot it to that? Or you can start a TV series franchise, Netflix, Peacock, Hulu, however. Because as you could tell, it's somewhat, who knows when it's going to start, but Friday the 13th coming back in a prequel called Crystal Lake. It's going to be on Peacock, I believe, Hulu. I think those two. But definitely start a TV series. Start, series of chapters, 30 an hour episode each one, and you can break it up. You don't have to focus that Michael be in it. You can start a young Michael. You can start somewhere. Give us something new, something different, and I promise you, if fans are fans, they will tune in. They may be still hunting down David Gordon Green, or writing some petition for signing it, but yeah. Or also, what I'm longing for is a video game. Like Friday the 13th, like the Texas Chainsaw game that's going to come out next year. I can only hope that Gunn and the creators behind that, or someone else, but does it right and creates a Halloween video game. I say go all out and do single player and multiplayer. You can be a survivor as single or killer, Michael, or these ones now where you're 1v4, 4v1, however you want to call it, but your survivors versus your killer. Have it some way, and have certain maps, your Lambkin Lane. You can even, it depends, because what Texas Chainsaw is doing is going back to the original house, the meat market, something else, some other map. Is it a junkyard? No. The house, the gas station, and the meat market. Those are the three as far as I remember. And you have 3 killers, 4 survivors, I believe. So that's going to be interesting. With Michael being Michael, I think, unless they do a copycat, but it'd be one. How would you do that? Allison, you could have Lori, Allison, Karen. Is it 1v3? Or is it best to have 1v4? Is it too much? But you would have to, or have it like Friday the 13th, and one killer with, don't have and just have all these survivors. It's gonna be Haddonfield, made up characters, and one boogeyman, and have Lampkin Lane. You have all the map. I say, kind of like Friday the 13th. Have each Michael's skin. Probably had to get the licenses and everything from all the Halloween movies. All of them. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 on zombies. David Gordon Green's trilogy. Boom. Unlock them, whatever. Because to me, the Friday the 13th game had detailed looks of each killer, and definitely the killer. But some too, the survivors, but definitely the killer. I think the game like that should be treated carefully. Either a story mode, someone's in your town, Michael wants to go home, you break out of the prison, you gotta get your jumpsuit, you gotta get your knife, you gotta get your rope, you gotta get your Halloween mask. However you gotta do it. Whether it's the old one from a police officer, from the investigating journalist, whether it's a new one, get it. Okay, but that's how I would continue, if not the movie way, still putting that content as Myers Halloween out there. Because we all know Halloween, to me, Laurie Strode wasn't the moneymaker. It was Michael Myers. It was him. Everyone loves horror. Everyone loves to be scared. No one, and I'm sure people are fans of Sidney Prescott, but you don't see much of Sidney Prescott's mask being sold with black robes everywhere. It's all about the killer, unfortunately. And I'm always chilling. Yeah, I'm always chilling, but I'm always rooting for Myers, whether it be against good or bad. But it's it's like, what's he going to do? What kill is he going to do next? And where's he going to pop out of? And I will say, when they threw him in there, it didn't jerk me, but it's like emotional as far as inside. It's like, man, this is it. There's no ways coming back. But if you think about it, from the first one in 1978 till, these new ones, it's like, dang. They put that to rest. And it'd be great to just take a break and start over, like I said, go different routes. Keep the money flowing and keep, the Halloween content as far as Myers out there. It's out there. People got fan films. Some people have made up video games with Myers from like the Dead by Daylight. He got him in there. So let me go ahead and get on to how I imagine how I would do the ending. And I'm not paid because, if I wanted to, I would have went to film school and all this other stuff, and I would have done this. But I thought about it. And I would have, first off, Corey does not die. He's just injured. Still laying flat at Laurie's compound or house. You can have the movie. This is the only way I thought up to. You have all the movie keep going the way it is. At the end, when Michael is at Laurie's house, you have, Laurie sees the door open. Michael's looking over there because he sees Laurie's shape or shadow walk by. He's like, okay, this is it. He doesn't kill Corey. what happens is he grabs the knife and the mask, and Corey does not move. He lays there lifeless. So you're thinking, crap, he's dead. This is the last Myers we got, and he's about to phase Laurie. The two battle it out, as they did, but instead of it all being ended in the kitchen, have the two, I want to say, if I can still remember this, you can have him slit the throat if you want, or whatever. She throws him in the back of the truck. He doesn't grab her. He's like, I'm gonna bring it. She tells Hawkins to tell the troopers. He tells Allison. They tell the city. And then Laurie throws Michael in the back of her truck. She hauls butt to the junkyard. Meanwhile, all the town, everyone's getting this word. Allison's probably riding with Frank and everyone else the city's just going junkyard. Meanwhile, Laurie gets to the compound. The lights are on. The next thing you know, she looks back, she puts it in park, and two things can happen. Two things. She gets to the back of the car, and she takes Michael's body. Michael stands, and it's on. It's on. Yes, Michael is still maskless. Michael is still maskless. I would have him still maskless. The mask is in the truck. It's still in Laurie's possession. Or it's left at the house. I'm sorry, it's left at the house. Okay, get this. That mask, she took it off in the kitchen. It's still at the house. Alright. Or, two, she puts it in park, gets out of the truck, goes to the bed of the truck. He's not there. Like, wait, where'd he go? Jumps off. Either he's I'm trying to figure it out though, but basically it's a snake. He already let go from a while back, and now he comes behind her, bashes her head in the truck, throws her through maybe her car window, and the battle is on. Maskless Myers and Laurie are still duking it out now in the junkyard, where they battle up. God knows what they do, maybe thrown through cars. Somehow we're thinking, man, maybe he is supernatural. He's been slit, wrist slit. He's got Jason Voorhees, which I thought that was a paid homage, but is, slit down the middle after he ripped his hand out. They're still battling it out. They battle it out up to the grinder, the metal grinder, the body grinder, the meat grinder, if you want to call it. And the town gets there, and they're just like, Allison's worried, they're in shock. Laurie's telling them to, and they're getting up there, they're on the very top, getting up there, and Laurie is telling her to turn the switch on, turn it on. And so they get over there, and she's just worried, and she's like, turn it on. She turns it on, they're fighting. Michael takes the knife, stabs Laurie, and it's like everyone's like shocked. Takes it out, I think does another stab, and she goes no, and takes it out. And one more stab, Laurie stops, turns and plummets it into his chest, or just decks him in the face with it, however you want to do it, but she gets him back with a knife. They both fall. See where I'm going with this? Michael falls into the grinder. Same thing. Michael's dead. Laurie falls at the top edge of it all. The town is watching. She can even turn back to the crowd and just fall back. Or she falls back in her body limbs, and when she falls down, she's facing the crowd. Her face looks at the crowd. And it's just a sad day. A vengeful one, a proud one because Michael's dead, but a sad one because Laurie's dead too. Laurie's dead. They hold a funeral. Allison's upset. Frank's upset. But it's almost like it's a tears of joy in a way, because the story, they know that their story, Michael and Lori's story, is over. Lori can rest in peace. The boogeyman has gone to hell. It's over. Here's the part where it kind of got tricky. You can either have it where police come back, or you can have the memoir and just say, during the funeral reception, "Sir, there seems to be no sign. We could not find the body of Corey Cunningham. No body. All right. Maybe Lori, maybe something happened to her when they went out and they don't know. No one knows where the body Corey Cunningham is." And they'll have a flashback or a part where the cops are looking in the house and the body's gone. Frank's just like, "Where is it?" And he goes in the kitchen and he notices something's missing. The mask is missing. Yeah, we're seeing where we're going with this. This is how I'd pay homage. You can fast forward it. Would you fast forward a year? A year? Maybe a year. But Allison stays. Allison stays in town. She's actually, she walks out of Lori's old house. She lives there now. She meets Frank. As Frank comes by driving, talks to him and said, "Hey, be careful tonight. It's Halloween." I said, "Oh, I'm not afraid, no one's afraid anymore. It's going to be a typical day. Whatever. I'll pay homage to my grandmother. Maybe she's walking, but she's walking. She's going to walk." Frank drives off, gone. Pretty soon, Allison is halfway down the sidewalk, singing, "I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us." And if I don't pay homage to the first one, next thing you know, the gray, green, however what color overalls appears, just like in 1978. In here, she's still singing, and it just cuts. Dun 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 dun. I'm like, what the heck? Thinking that's Corey. Corey's the shape. He's the guy. Or you would have him, the camera, as he's breathing, go down. You see the scar that he got from those kids in his arm. I mean, we know what he looks like. See, here's the thing. I'd even have him keep the mask. Or, here's another take on it. The mask is with Michael in the very end of the junkyard. Gets shredded up with it, if you want. Same scenario. But instead of checking on Allison, he says, "Hey, be careful tonight. Have some stupid idiot rob a Halloween store." He took some masks, a couple of knives, and some rope. She goes, "All right," and she'll show like a gun or a knife on her. And he goes, "There you go." And then he takes off, walks down the road, sings the song. Next thing you know, you got the goes down in the scar, and you don't even know what mask he has. Maybe he has a fresh new, something like back there, a clean mask, and you don't see it though, because we want to go back to that, right? Because we don't know what it looks like. The directors can make it look like whatever it wants to in the next one. It just cuts, You just Halloween ends. Dun 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 dun. And it's like, that would be it. That would be it for me. That would be it. I mean, you'd have a new killer, a new face, a fresh, he's in his 20s, I think, close to it. You know, if not close to it, but he's young. And Michael's gone. Guess who guess who has all that evil in him? Guess who is ready to start a new legacy? New survivors, new killers, or new ways of killing. A new home. I know he went to, but I would be interested to go back to his parents' old, or go to the house where the kid did a belly flop and died off the stairs in the beginning. Something where he was maybe made. But they went, oh, here's what you could continue with. Here's an axe. And it's slammed, and it's nothing. So we're left with that. But you know, at the end of the day, Halloween is Halloween. Somebody, I guarantee you, give it a few years, because we had these Halloweens back to back, but give it a few years, and Halloween will return to theaters, or some way, shape, or form, but it will return. The Boogeyman is coming back, maybe in a younger form, which is great. A new, fresh mask, and not Laurie. He can go back to just, hey, you know, you're near my home, you're it, something. So I think it's, you know, a lot of people want to see it die. Heck, keep going. What did Loomis say? He wanted to keep doing it till Halloween 22. Which one is this? 13? Maybe Halloween 13? If you really count all of them? I don't know. But it's around there. So you still got some Halloweens to produce. And I think a whole brand new freaking Marvel DC lineage of Halloween. Just, oh, we got 10 movies, 10 episodes for you right here. This big old log right here. So that's my take on it. I think that ending would have been, but the ending would have did, and we just left us like, what? There's no, because we're used to that ending. We're used to the no, and there's like, oh, it still continues. And keeps going, and everyone wants it to end. Some people do, and when it does, people are like, oh, okay, I regret saying I wanted it to end. Now I don't want it to end. Now what? Michael's gone forever? No. Michael's going to be on every shelf in America, still selling masks and overalls and you name it, movies. I mean, just like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Halloween Ends is probably going to become very unique in its own way, and it's still going to sell. They're still going to sell. So that's going to be my take for it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you would end Halloween Ends. How you would end the trilogy. Would you kill off both? Would you kill just Laurie? Would you kill just Michael? Or, you know, kill them all? And would you have Corey live? Would you have Corey die? Would you have just a mysterious person take on the role? Who knows? Was it Allison? I wouldn't mind a female Myers. That would be cool. Sexy too, but that would be cool. That's going to do it for me on my take on Halloween Ends. And hopefully, you know, here's many more to come. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for joining the journey. And as for me, Justin Frugier, I'll see you next time. Y'all take care.